Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
7 brand new studies could change how you age, from your heart to your muscles, your brain to your bones. Stay tuned, because these findings will definitely help you age better. Hi everyone, I'm Barbara, and this is Age Better. You know, every week I sit down with top experts, or sometimes it's just you and me, and we talk about ways to take charge of our health and happiness as we get older. Today's episode is one of those quick solo shows where I bring you the latest science that can actually make a difference in your day-to-day life right now, today, and your long-term health and vitality. I pulled together 7 brand new studies hot off the presses that matter for all women, whether you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, or beyond. I'll break each one down and tell you what it means to you, and then connect the dots to a few of the past episodes of Age Better if you want to dive deeper. But before we start, because I'm really excited about this, I want to let you know about next week's episode. For a few years, I've been obsessed with a part of our bodies that is so complicated and so mysterious, called the vagus nerve. And recently, the vagus nerve has been riding high on social media with so-called influencers talking about how to stimulate the vagus nerve to calm down, to get more alert, to get healthier, to ease pain, and so much more, and everything in between. But the vagus nerve is so incredibly complicated, it simply cannot be explained away in a 3-minute Instagram reel. It just can't. So when I asked around, with all my medical friends and people who've been on the show, and then I took my own deep dive into the vagus nerve, specifically searching for the absolute best expert in the world, all roads led to one man and one man only. Dr. Kevin J. Tracy, a neurosurgeon by trade and skill, a scientist, researcher, and CEO of the Feinstein Institutes, which is a division of the Northwell Health Network, and the author of what is now being considered the seminal book on the vagus nerve, which just came out in May, just a few months ago, called The Great Nerve. And he developed and this is kind of the really big news, he developed a game-changing, life-changing device that actually stimulates the vagus nerve, really stimulates the vagus nerve, to alleviate the most severe pain and symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis, which is debilitating in most cases, and there's no real cure. And it was just approved by the FDA. This story was so big that it made the front page of the New York Times just a few weeks ago. And the fact that this incredible human has found the time to sit with me and talk with me about all of that and so much more has made me very, very proud and very, very humble. So mark your calendars, everyone. Tuesday, September 16th. That's next week. This is an episode you do not want to miss. All right, let's get on with the show. All right, everyone, stay tuned and let's age better. Hey, everyone. So here are the studies, starting with number 1. It's not about 10,000 steps. It's about sitting less. So you think about it this way. It's not really about walking more. It's about sitting less. But anyway, I'm all in favor of walking more and sitting less. So we'll do the combo plan. But the American Heart Association just released a huge study showing that sitting more than 10 and a half hours a day, which it sounds like a lot, but you know what? A lot of us do exactly that. But it increases your risk of heart failure, even if you get your weekly exercise in. Did you hear that? even if you exercise. And if you sit that much, you increase your risk of heart failure. I just wanted to repeat that. Okay, here's the eye opener. Replacing just 30 minutes of sitting with light activity, such as, and you can do this, standing, walking around the house, stretching. That's easy. Reduce the risk of another cardiac event by 50%. And moderate activity, even better, like kind of intentional walking, maybe go walk your dog a few times. So what does this mean for you? Well, don't stress about the 10,000 steps. I think that's sort of been debunked at this point. Aim for 7,000 if you like. I mean, if like aiming for a number is important, it kind of is to me. But the real key is breaking up long stretches of sitting. And I've been talking about this for years. Every hour, stand up. Do some ankle circles, wall push-ups or regular push-ups, march in place, maybe do some jumping jacks, whatever, go up and down the stairs, or like I said before, walk your dog. These are movement snacks, not even exercise snacks, just movement snacks. And if you need to kind of get a reminder, just like do something on your phone or your watch that will remind you. So for more on how to move smarter, listen to my conversation with Brady Homer that was very recent. How well are you aging? All about VO2 max and HRV. It's one of the most popular episodes that we've done. Study number 2. Strength training is non-negotiable. It really, really is. Especially, have you been listening to Dr. Vonda Wright, who was on the show last year? And I kind of replay her episode on occasion because it's so good. And she just came out with that new book called Unbreakable just a few days ago. But here's the truth. After menopause, women lose 3 to 5% of muscle each decade. And that loss doesn't just affect how we look. It affects whether we can climb stairs, carry groceries, or, really important, down the road, or live independently. So what does this mean for you? Well, strength training is the only proven way to slow or even reverse this muscle loss. And it doesn't mean heavy barbells, but although Dr. Wright really does think that's an excellent idea, especially for your bones, you can use bands and light weights or even just your body weight, like doing push-ups and the like, or squats. Done 2 or 3 times a week makes a huge difference. And if you want an easy way to start, check out my episode with Dr. Abby Smith-Ryan on creatine for midlife women. She explains how adding creatine can safely boost the benefits or actually allows you to work even harder when you're doing resistance training and strength training than you ever thought possible. So you may want to check that out. And you also, of course, want to check out again that episode with Dr. Vonda Wright as well, where she really goes into some detail about some of the things that you can do to mitigate the risk of muscle and bone loss. So check that out too. Study number 3, hormone therapy may actually slow aging. So maybe you're sitting on the fence about hormone therapy, or maybe you think you're too old, like you've aged out of hormone therapy. If you're just kind of thinking about it still, kind of listen to this. A massive study in JAMA, J-A-M-A, which is like one of the highest regarded medical journals out there, looked at over 100,000 postmenopausal women and found that those on hormone therapy were biologically younger than those who were not. They also had lower death rates, especially from heart disease. So this is huge. What does this mean for you? Well, HT isn't just about hot flashes. We know that now. When prescribed appropriately, it may help slow the aging process itself. Of course, it isn't right for everyone. We know that. But if you've been hesitant, it's worth maybe a new look, a new conversation with a menopause-informed healthcare provider. Not all of them are. We know that now. Not all of them are. You can always go to menopause.org, which is the Menopause Society's website, to find one in your area. And if you want to take a deeper dive into hormone therapy, what it is, who it's right for, what it doesn't do, what it does do, and so on, you can listen to my conversation with Dr. Margaret Noctegal, a frequent guest on this show, Hormone Therapy, Separating Fact from Fiction. So number 4, this is a big one, and I do talk about this a lot whenever I can. Loneliness is as risky as smoking. Think about that. Loneliness is as risky to your health as smoking. Nearly 40% of adults over 50 report feeling lonely, and the latest research shows it raises your risk of heart disease, stroke, dementia, and even early death. The impact is comparable. It's like, I can't even believe I'm saying this. The impact is comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Is that crazy? So what does this mean for you? Well, connection is medicine. We say exercise is medicine. We say food is medicine. Well, connection is medicine too. And I've had quite a few experts on the show saying that exact thing. It's as critical as diet and exercise. That might mean joining a walking club. Hey, you've heard about the walking club that I started, right? It's the BHOF, Bone Health and Osteoporosis Foundation, Be Bone Strong Walking Club. We started in Virginia, and we're taking it kind of around the country. So, if you want to know more about that, just reach out, agebetterpodcast@gmail.com. I'll tell you all about it. But anyway, you might want to join a walking club, pick up the phone, call a friend, and really, really important, maybe volunteer in your community. Stay connected. And we talked about this in depth and at length in an episode I had with Joyce Schulman, who co-founded the 99 Walks. And we talked about feeling lonely. And we talked about some of these studies that were older than this one that just came out. But again, it is really important. If you're feeling lonely, take some action. Or if you know someone who's lonely, try to help that person take some action to alleviate the loneliness. Number 5, Mediterranean diet protects the brain. And we've kind of known this, but it's always good to know when new studies come out. But this is big, and you may have even seen it in the general media. A brand new study showed that people with the highest genetic risk for Alzheimer's, which is the APOE4 gene, reduced that risk by 35% when following a Mediterranean-style diet. What is that? Well, that's leafy greens, fruits, legumes, nuts, seeds, whole grains, olive oil, fish, and poultry, and kind of steer clear of the meat and sugar when you can. And so what does this mean for you? Even if you don't know your genetic risk, although you could find out with testing, the Mediterranean diet is one of the most proven ways to protect brain health. We just know this. Small swaps like olive oil instead of butter, adding beans, like a half a cup of beans to your diet every day has a huge payoff. And so for more on protecting your brain, listen to the conversation I had with Dr. Margaret Noctegal on how your brain changes after menopause. And I also had a really terrific episode focusing exactly on the Mediterranean diet, how it's always consistently the number one healthiest diet for women in midlife. So check that one out too. Study number 6, connected to the one we just talked about, just yesterday. Yes, yesterday. Another study showed that people who combined a Mediterranean diet with calorie reduction, meaning just eating a little less, and regular physical activity, cut their risk of type 2 diabetes by 31%. That's a huge cut. What this means for you, this is really huge for women in postmenopause because since our diabetes risk increases with age, you want to do everything you can to mitigate those risks. Because once you get type 2 diabetes, that's like you're heading into metabolic syndrome land. You probably will have metabolic syndrome if you have type 2 diabetes. So adopting even part of a Mediterranean pattern, like more veggies, less processed foods for sure, and smaller portions, because we just don't need as much food as we used to. And then along with daily movement, like what we've been talking about earlier with some other studies being talked about today, is one of the best ways to prevent diabetes. And you really do want to prevent diabetes. And number 7, vitamin D deficiency is still widespread. Even though there's so much talk about vitamin D, the importance of this sunshine vitamin, as we call it, because you tend to get it from sun, but we also don't want to get too much sun, so therefore we're not getting as much vitamin D as we used to back in the day. So over 40% of adults are deficient in vitamin D. 40%, that's a lot. And the risks go beyond your bone health. Low levels can mean weaker muscles, more falls, that's huge, higher infection risk, and even autoimmune problems. And so what does this mean for you? Well, you ask your doctor for a simple 25 hydroxy vitamin D blood test. That's what it is. Many of us need more than the standard 800 IU. Absolutely, we do. Experts often suggest 1,000 to 2,000 IU daily, but always personalize it depending upon what your number is with your healthcare provider. I personally take 5,000 IUs most days, and some days I take 25 just to kind of keep it at a good level. So for details, check out my episode I replayed it not long ago on the most important medical tests, like blood tests that every woman over 40 and 50 and 60 and 70 and so on should be getting. And that includes, of course, the vitamin D test. So to wrap up, so there you have it, 7 powerful new studies. And here's kind of a recap. Move often, not just far. Strength, train regularly. Consider the new evidence on hormone therapy. Treat connection like medicine. Eat Mediterranean for your brain. Eat Mediterranean for diabetes prevention too. And check your vitamin D. So the big picture, aging better isn't about decline and giving up. It's about staying curious, reassessing and tweaking by making small adjustments. And always, always, it's about choosing habits that help you age better. So I'll put all the links to the studies plus the related Age Better episodes I referenced right in the show notes. And if you have any questions or if you have ideas for future episodes, reach out to me at agebetterpodcast@gmail.com or on social media. I would love to hear from you about starting a walking club in your neighborhood too. So please do reach out. And don't forget to tune in next week when my guest is Dr. Kevin J. Tracy, the world's #1 expert on the vagus nerve. You definitely want to hear this. All right, everyone, have a great week and talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode of Age Better Podcast, please do a few things. First, share it with all your friends and family. Then subscribe to Age Better wherever you listen to podcasts, including YouTube, so you never miss a single episode. Finally, if you have ideas for topics you want me to cover in a future episode of Age Better, send an email to agebetterpodcast@gmail.com or reach out to me on social media. Until next time, remember this. We can't control getting older, but we can control how we do it. Talk to you soon. Age Better Podcast is a proud member of the Sound Advice Network. Sound Advice, women's voices amplified.